Ma'am, good evening. What do you make of the Prime Minister's speech?
I think he spent 1 hour, 13 minutes talking about everything under the sun, except for the most raging issue of our times, which is the collusion between the state, between himself and one of the leading corporates, who, thanks to Mr. Modi ji, has come in from 609 position to number 2. But that's not the point. The point is that today the parliament saw a prime minister who was nervous, a prime minister who was in denial about the real issues, a prime minister who was rattled by the charges that saddle him and his government of crony capitalism. And that's how I sum it up. And actually, if you ask me, and if I may use a line in Hindi, उनके 1.5 घंटे के भाषण पर राहुल गांधी की 1.5 मिनट की बाइट उसके बाद भारी पड़ गई. Rahul Gandhi spoke with facts. It's another thing that this government doesn't like facts and wants to go and expunge them. But every fact that Rahul Gandhi quoted in Parliament is out in the public domain. I challenge this government to dispute those facts. You can expunge them because you want to kill democracy, but dispute those facts, come out and debate in public. And one thing is very clear though, and that's the only thing I will end by saying my answer here. The one thing that is clear is that the Prime Minister will neither probe nor investigate Mr. Adani. He has decided he will continue to stand with a man who the world is acting against, from the global indices to the global financial institutions to the global brokerage agencies, have all, flagged a red flag on Mr. Adani, but not the Indian government and not the Indian Prime Minister. That's the message that the world has seen. Modi ji ka mitra matri mandal pe bhari hai.
But Ms. Srinath, while the Prime Minister didn't speak about the Congress's demand for a JPC, he didn't specifically use the word Adani, but he did repeatedly speak on corruption. And the BJP saying this is his response when he talks about the UPA-era scams, and he says that the people will see through false propaganda.
Mr. Adani is present in the sectors of Indian economy which are called strategic. He is present and he's a leading monopoly in sectors like defense, in sectors like ports, airports, food, agriculture, renewable energy, cement, sectors that are the building blocks of the Indian economy. There are charges of shell companies, and not one or two, but a web of shell companies through which money is being round-tripped. Are you telling me that the Indian government is not concerned about who are the dubious people who are possibly putting money in India in strategic sectors, maybe to destabilize? Does the Prime Minister have no conscience? The entire country is watching how LIC is spending the money of 30 crore of its small policy holders on Adani stocks, even though it continues to sell its stake in blue chips like NTPC and Power Grid. Does the country not deserve to know that why should SBI's 45 crore account holders be held ransom? Why should retail shareholders in India see their capital erosion? The Prime Minister chooses to not name Adani even once. He doesn't even say that if there is some wrongdoing, I will get a free and fair investigation done. And you are telling me he has the mantle to speak against corruption. Today, Mr. Modi came across as a man who's completely hypocritical, and he proved every charge that is saddled against him and leveled against his government.
Ms. Srinath, my final question to you, where does this leave the Congress's fight on the issue of Adani? It's clear that the government is not going to pay heed to your demand of a JPC. Rahul Gandhi's comments, some of his comments on the Adani controversy yesterday in Lok Sabha have also been expunged now.
They can be expunged from the Lok Sabha, but can they be expunged from public memory? Can they deny that Mr. Modi used Adani aircraft to mount his campaign first as Chief Minister and then as Prime Minister before 2014? Can anybody deny the proximity that he shares with Mr. Adani? The country is today asking, wo kaun sa nuska hai success ka, jisse jis kshetra mein, whichever sector Mr. Adani enters, he becomes a leading monopoly in that sector and extremely successful. Whichever country Mr. Modi visits, Mr. Adani either accompanies him, joins him there, or goes right after Mr. Modi has left and lands contracts. And this is true for the power contract in Bangladesh. This is true for the power contract in Sri Lanka. This is true for the defense contract where he had no experience whatsoever in Israel. This is true for all his foreign trips, and which is why we say the country has waited and watched how your foreign policy is centered around getting projects for one friend of yours, and that is Mr. Adani. To me, this is the Adani-Modi gate.